Giving our praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Charakakudash, double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. And a shout to all the sincere elect out there, keep fighting. Officially now in the year of 2026 of apostates, sellouts, and agents. And we're going to go in on this, Lord willing, Psalms 49, because this devil is exalting himself to the extremities. So we start with Psalms 49, and from the top it says, this is a subheading, it says, the folly of trusting in riches. Yet, because the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. And you've got a crazy man, a madman in the White House, and all those followers also, right, with their technocracy, and this is how they well and truly feel. They trust in their riches. They trust in their folly. Folly is set in great dignity, and that also applies to them Edomites. So 11 of Psalms 49 says, their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever. Yep, that's what they well and truly believe inwardly, but it's also coming out. It's coming out because what's in the in will come out, show forth. Trump just, what recently took place with the Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuela, right, which is just a step closer to WW3. It's intensifying. We know that first we have to get the MOTB first. Prophecies will fall into place, will take place in its order. The digital currency, MOTB, right, WW3, all these are lined up to get licked down like Skittles, these prophecies. So that's how they will and truly feel that they believe that inward thoughts will stand forever. Trump talking about taking Greenland, Mexico, Colombia, right, to name a few. Iran, which the Fritz is there, saying don't touch the Iranian protesters, otherwise there's going to be a threat from above. No, not ground troops, but from above. We know what that means. It's going to start bombing places, blitzing the place. So they well and truly, his pride has lifted up unto the heavens. And as we know, it says in Daniel 7 and 20, he's more stouter than his fellow. The inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own name. And I'll just be meditating on this. This is one of their next big ambitions. What is Voyager space station? Because I came across this in my research. What is Voyager space station? See, that's what they got. That's their next plan. So, Space Development Corporation is an American aerospace company that has announced several widely publicized plans to build various space stations, right, as of 2024. No funding for the project has been announced, and construction of the station. Right, we're going to get into some of hit the bullet points here. Right, the Voyager, it says, where are Voyager 1 and Voyager 2? Both Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 have reached insular space, and each continue their unique journey deeper unto the cosmos. So they name their buildings, their space stations after their own names. Right, when you get into some of the history as well, we're going to get into a little bit of history too. Right, the Voyager space station. I was curious about this because when I was doing my research, looking into the reasons why he's wiser than Daniel. There is a reason, right? Let me hit that one. Let me hit that. The scripture, what it says in Ezekiel about he's wiser than Daniel. And read it. Daniel, that's Daniel 28. And 3. Went into it a little bit yesterday. It says, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. Right? let me read. Let me read two. It says, "The Son of Man, say unto the Prince of Tyrus," right? So Tyrus represents the Edomites today, the great authority, the great um, rulers. When you hear about rulers and kings, right, in modern day, they represent the Edomites today, who are the rulers of the earth today, right? Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God, because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God, right? That's that God complex. That's how they say. That's how they brandish themselves, even if they're not saying it outwardly. Their inward thoughts is that they shall continue forever. God complex. I am God, sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yep, they've got their submarines in the midst of the seas, which seas represent people as well. But in this case as well, they've got the submarines, they got the planes, you know what they call them, ship carriers, plane carriers on the in the sea. They control the sea, the land, and the air, as we know it. In the seat of God in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, thou art wiser than. Yeah, they set their heart as the heart of God. They want to be everywhere, right? This is one example here, right? That's one of some. This is a Voyager space station. They got the satellites up there as well. These are referring to the big satellites, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, that they've got up there, right? CCTV, AI, to name a few, and this is one of the major ones here. They're saying they're going to build this. The Voyager space station, Voyager station, previously Van Brun station, is proposed relating Will space station planned to start construction in 2026. What is it going to do? What does Voyager space do? The mission objective of the Voyager installer mission VIM is to extend the NASA exploration of solar system, right? Their Project Bluebeam, what they got, their projects, what they have in the space beyond the neighborhood of the outer space to that tricky movie Star Trek, to go where no man has gone before. Right? And that's the same sentiments, to go where no man has gone before. Yeah, planets to outer limits of sun sphere of influence and possibly beyond. To go where no man has gone before and beyond, right? That's the Star Trek spirit, but that's Ezekiel 28, right? He believes he is wiser than Daniel, right? As far as the advancements with the technology, what they have now, and he believes he's God. He has a God complex. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. Right? Back to Ezekiel 28 and 3 now. Wiser than Daniel, there is no secret that thou can hide from thee. Yep, because they got this is the new kid on the block, their new toy, he's going to put with his satellites up there. The satellites, they'll be controlling everything, the AI, the CCTV, so the intelligence to listen in to conversations. No doubt they was listening to the conversations with the president, his secret service, his secret service bodyguards listening in before they make that leap with their sonic beam intelligence missiles, what they was used to capture him. President Nicolas Maduro, and homing in with their intelligence. So they use that controlled by the satellites. So that's how they be by their. I'll read it again. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that thy can hide from thee. Because they be listening to people talking. Right? That's their intelligence. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou art gotten thy riches, and hast gotten gold and silver unto thy treasures, by thy great wisdom and by thy great traffic. right? All the trafficking, you name it. You know what I mean? Human trafficking, organ trafficking, sex trafficking, all the trafficking, right? Um, Mineral wealth trafficking, right? We done a video on that in the week sit down we did with the something triangle. It escapes my mind at the moment. The lithium triangle, which full of there's a lot going on with that. The rabbit hole goes deep with that. All the different minerals and stones and different types of metals and healing stones too. Lord, we now I do a video on that because I'm into the stones, the gemstones. It does go deep. That rabbit hole does go deep. Things that they can heal us, boom, they can heal us, man. Right? But the Most High is going to be the one to heal us. He's going to reveal the secrets. As a matter of fact, he has revealed a lot of secrets now. On this side, there's certain types of medicines, the holistics, right, which is to deal with the whole of the body, the symptoms that he's got, right. He's got them in his pharmaceuticals, right. His witchcraft that he's got, and he uses a bit of the naturals. They're in a synthetic version. So going back to the point, yes, he is wiser than Daniel, but a lot of it is short-lived and artificial, synthetic. But the point is, yes, he is wiser than Daniel. Yep. So by the riches has gotten gold. Let me read 4 again. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver unto thy treasures. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. Right? He's more stouter than his fellow. So there is an outcome for them. They name their houses after their own names. That's that arrogance, that pompousness. So what is Voyager Space Station? I just was curious about that. I wanted to get into that and do a video on it because it's in line with the prophecies and as what the scriptures say about that. He's going to bring them down anyway. But yeah, he's wiser than Daniel. And there's another example here because I tapped in Voyager. What is Voyager? Right, and this came up. It was by Nothing's Mistake. This is all the spirit as well. What is Voyager was the Titanic. What Voyager was the Titanic on? Right, on April 10th, 1912, the Titanic set sail on its maiden voyage, traveling from Southampton, England, to New York City. Did the Titanic? Right, this is an omen. This is a bad omen for you devils. Right, this is exactly what will happen to your Voyager. This happened to this Voyager. Titanic launched on May 31st, 1911, and set sail on the maiden Voyager from Southampton on April 10th. Right, they're the dates. Right, and with 2,240 passengers, it might be more. Numbers and that. Passengers and crew on board on April 15th, 1912. After striking an iceberg, Titanic broke apart and sank to the bottom of the ocean, taking with it lives from more than 1,500 passengers. Right? And it goes on. Right? I just wanted to make that point. What did they say about the Titanic? What did they say about the Titanic? Hold on a minute. What did they say? Let's see. What was said about the Titanic? What was said about the Titanic? Take your time, Google. The ship held as unsinkable. See? You probably know the story of the great irony of the Titanic. You damn right, I know. Right? Because that's the future for you devils anyway. Right? This is an omen. Is it an omen? It's a omen, bad omen for you. You probably know. Yes, I do. The Titanic, the ship held as unsinkable, sank after it struck an iceberg on its very first trip across the Atlantic Ocean. In hindsight, it seems almost silly that anyone would assume that a ship weighing more than 50,000 tons when fully laden was unsinkable. Right? That's what they well and truly believed in those days, and they well and truly believed it until the Most High could have done it any kind of way. He could have just sent Leviathan to just lick it, give it a lick with his tail, or just give it a nudge, send it on its merry way, sink it. So that's what was said. What did the owner of Titanic say about the ship? The Most High was just mocking them. All right. On the day of the famous ship, the Titanic set sail for the first time. The owner said, "Not even God can sink this boat." We all know what happened, and we all know what happened, right? The Most High made his tongue fall upon himself. He made mockery of that boat, and he made him say that so that he can sink it, mock him, sank, killing very, very many passengers and crews. We all know what happened. So they got their plans for Voyager space station. And what does the scripture say about the Voyagers and all their satellites? Come on, you know the one. You know the one. Obadiah 1. Let's get it. Let's get free. The pride of thine heart has deceived thee, that thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that sat in his heart, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Thank you. What are you? What you could try? Saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Not even God can sink this boat. This ship, held as unsinkable, sank after it struck an iceberg, right? Held as unsinkable. Let's go back. Scriptures be speaking, man. The pride of thine heart deceived thee, thus that dwelleth in the cliffs of the rocks, whose habitation is high. And in the history, they had the Titanic. Who can sink it? Yeah, habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Right? That's what they're saying. They're gonna have that. They got the same spirit, the devil, incarnate with the same spirit what he had with the Titanic. Right? They believe that it ain't gonna be brought down. Right? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, right? The Voyager, the space Voyager, they're they're building it already, right? That's in their plans. They started building it 2024, and they're gonna finish it. They believe, they hope, in around 2026, right? That's the plans, because he saith in his heart that his kingdom will stand forever, right? Thus their inward thoughts, I'm jumping about, but it's all the spirit. Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their land after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beast that perished. Yep. This is the way, their way is that their folly, yet their posterity improve their sayings. Right, that's the word. Their way is their folly. Back to Obadiah, because it really just backs up the point. Their way is their folly. Back to Obadiah 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. Right? That's the point right there. The Wadeo Bashim Yoshai, Kala Yahweh, Bashim Yoshai, Bashim Rakah Kodash. That's just the point right there. This is the end result. Going to be the end result for them. Not even God. This is what he said. Right? On the day, the owner of the Titanic, what did he say? On the day the famous ship, the Titanic, set sail, for the first time, the owner said, not even God can sink it. Right? So all the scriptures done back it all up. All the scriptures were brought out. Right? The inward thoughts is that their houses will continue forever. Backs up what I just brought out. Right? They believe they're wiser than Daniel. Right? The secrets that there is no secret that they can hide from thee. Ezekiel 28:3. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver unto thy treasures. And they're continuously with their greed, insatiable with their appetite. Hence, they're talking about going to Greenland now, right? Which is all leading to the WW3. But before that, we know the prophecies are lined up. Digital currency, MOTB, WW3, grand finale, right? But let them plan, because the Most High going to do what? He's going to sink the ship. He's going to sink the ship. The what they are by Shimon Shai, Kala Yahweh, by Shimon Shai. To the next one, Akim. We out. Most High going to sink the ship. The houses cannot continue forever.